When you imagine the perfect English country cottage, you might picture stone walls, blooming roses, and rooms filled with charm. In this video, we'll explore how to style your home with a mix of shabby chic and vintage charm, creating a space that feels timeless, warm, and inviting. This is more than just decoration. It's about creating a story in every corner of your home. Whether you're in the countryside or the city, you can capture this elegant, cozy look. Shabby chic is all about softness, pastel tones, and a slightly worn, lived-in appeal, while vintage charm celebrates nostalgia, history, and carefully curated treasures. The magic happens when you combine these styles in your English cottage decor. It's a mix of elegance and comfort, where every imperfection adds to the character. This look works beautifully for seasonal home decor because you can adapt it easily to spring florals, summer pastels, autumn warmth, or winter coziness. The heart of English cottage style lies in its color palette. Soft whites, muted creams, faded blues, and gentle pinks are your best friends. These colors work perfectly for a shabby chic look, while adding deeper vintage tones like dusty rose, sage green, or antique gold creates depth. Keep your walls neutral to let your decor pieces shine, and use seasonal accent colors for a fresh twist throughout the year. An English country cottage isn't filled with brand new furniture. Instead, it's a curated collection of pieces with history. Look for distressed wood tables, upholstered armchairs, and vintage wardrobes. Shabby Chic embraces signs of age. Chipped paint, worn fabrics, and natural patina all add to the charm. Mix and match different eras and shapes for an effortless, layered look that feels like it evolved over decades. From oak beams to linen drapes, natural materials bring warmth and authenticity to your space. Wood, stone, cotton, and wool are essential in cottage decor. In shabby chic styling, these materials are often painted in soft tones or left in their natural beauty for a vintage feel. Incorporating these textures adds depth and a cozy touch, making your home feel grounded and welcoming. Your living room should be the heart of your English cottage. Use a large, comfortable sofa with soft slipcovers, layer it with floral or lace throw pillows, and add a warm wool blanket for cooler months. A shabby chic coffee table, perhaps with a distressed white finish, ties the look together. Don't forget vintage decor like old books, candlesticks, or a floral teacup collection for an authentic touch. The kitchen is where English country living truly shines. Think open shelving displaying mismatched china, vintage teapots, and enamelware. A large farmhouse table can serve as the center for family gatherings. Painted cabinets in soft pastel shades work beautifully with shabby chic charm, while vintage-style appliances or copper pots add a timeless feel. Fresh flowers on the counter complete the look year-round. An English cottage bedroom should feel like a peaceful retreat. Opt for an antique-style bed frame with an iron or carved wood headboard. Layer bedding with floral quilts, lace-trimmed pillowcases, and a cozy throw blanket. Shabby chic thrives in bedrooms, where ruffled curtains, vintage mirrors, and soft lighting can create a dreamy, romantic space perfect for unwinding. Even the smallest room can carry shabby chic style. In a cottage bathroom, a clawfoot tub is the ultimate vintage luxury. Use pastel-painted vanities, antique mirrors, and floral patterned towels. Small decorative touches like a vintage perfume bottle display or an old wooden stool can make the space feel curated and elegant. One of the best things about cottage decor is how easily it adapts to the seasons. In spring, bring in fresh florals and light pastel accents. For summer, use airy linens and soft blues. In autumn, layer with warm plaids and deeper jewel tones. During winter, embrace cozy textures, warm lighting, and festive touches that still match the shabby chic and vintage theme. Florals are essential in English cottage styling. Whether it's wallpaper, upholstery, or decorative pillows, floral prints bring the outdoors inside. Soft roses, peonies, or wildflower patterns work especially well. In shabby chic design, these florals often have a slightly faded, vintage look, making them feel timeless and romantic rather than overly bold. Lighting sets the mood for your cottage home. Opt for vintage-style chandeliers, wrought iron sconces, or table lamps with fabric shades. Warm-toned bulbs create a soft glow that complements shabby chic's romantic atmosphere. Candles, especially in antique holders, are perfect for evenings, adding both light and charm to your home. The thrill of English cottage styling is hunting for the perfect vintage pieces. Visit flea markets, thrift stores, or estate sales to find treasures like porcelain figurines, weathered picture frames, or antique clocks. The more unique your finds, the more personal and authentic your home will feel. While vintage is key, it's perfectly fine to mix in new pieces. A new sofa in a classic shape, paired with vintage cushions, can balance comfort and style. In Shabby Chic decor, the mix of old and new creates a relaxed, lived-in look that never feels staged or artificial. Plants breathe life into your English cottage home. Choose potted herbs for the kitchen, trailing ivy for shelves, or fresh blooms in a vintage vase. Greenery pairs beautifully with both shabby chic and vintage styles, softening the look and connecting your interior to the natural charm of the countryside. First impressions matter. An English cottage entryway should feel warm and welcoming. A vintage bench with floral cushions, a rustic coat rack, and a basket of fresh flowers can set the tone for the rest of the home. A shabby chic console table with a distressed finish makes the perfect spot for keys and seasonal decor. Soft textiles make a house feel like a home. In cottage styling, this means layering rugs, throws, curtains, and cushions in various textures. Natural fibers like cotton, linen, and wool work best. In shabby chic, textiles often feature lace trims, delicate patterns, and muted tones that add romance to the space. Bare walls don't belong in a cozy cottage. Use vintage artwork, botanical prints, or old-fashioned plates to decorate. In shabby chic homes, ornate mirrors, distressed frames, and wall shelves with collected treasures add depth and personality to your walls. One of the most charming aspects of shabby chic style is giving old pieces new life. Turn an old ladder into a blanket rack, or repurpose a weathered door as a headboard. These creative touches not only save money but also make your home truly unique. Layering is key to achieving that lived-in, collected-over-time look. In an English cottage, you might layer rugs, stack old books, and mix different fabrics. Shabby chic layering often includes sheer curtains over heavier drapes, or multiple throws on a sofa for both visual interest and comfort. Scent is an often overlooked part of home styling. In a cottage home, think fresh lavender, rose, or vanilla candles. These soft, floral fragrances enhance the romantic atmosphere of shabby chic decor and make your home feel even more welcoming. Don't forget your garden, porch, or balcony. Wrought iron furniture, floral cushions, and hanging baskets filled with blooms extend the cottage feel outdoors. Vintage watering cans or wooden crates can be repurposed into charming planters. In an English cottage, open shelving and display cabinets are essential for showing off your collections. Whether it's vintage china, antique glassware, or old books, displaying your treasures adds character and keeps your decor personal and meaningful. While shabby chic encourages a relaxed, collected look, it's important not to overcrowd your space. Leave breathing room so your special pieces can shine. In cottage styling, balance is key. Too much clutter can overwhelm the calm, inviting feeling you're trying to create. Your dining table is an easy way to change decor with the seasons. In spring, use fresh flowers and pastel linens. For autumn, layer with warm tones and rustic tableware. Vintage glassware and mismatched china work beautifully for any season, adding to the charm of your cottage home. The most beautiful homes reflect the people who live in them. Display family photos in vintage frames, hang handmade quilts, or showcase a collection you love. These details make your English cottage decor feel authentic and deeply personal. Cottage styling isn't about filling every space, it's about choosing pieces that matter. Investing in a few high-quality vintage finds will make your home feel richer and more authentic than buying lots of inexpensive items that don't hold meaning. One of the joys of shabby chic is that it celebrates flaws. A chipped teacup, a slightly faded fabric, or a weathered piece of furniture tells a story. These imperfections give your home soul and make it truly unique. When styling your English country cottage, remember that it's about creating harmony between old and new, elegance and comfort. Keep your color palette soft, your textures varied, and your decor personal. The combination of shabby chic and vintage charm will create a space you'll love for years. In the end, your English cottage is a reflection of your heart and creativity. Whether you live in a countryside home or a city apartment, you can bring this timeless style to life. By mixing shabby chic softness with vintage charm, you create a home that feels warm, inviting, and deeply personal, one that tells a story every time someone steps inside.